Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to go over all of the new content in MLB The Show 21. We've got new moments, we've got new diamonds and space packs, as well as a new headliner. We're going to break down all of those cards, if they're worth it, if you should avoid them, as well as the new moments and choices from that as well. Guys, thank you for everyone that has subscribed to me in the MLB community. It has been awesome jumping in and really enjoying the game. If you want to catch me live, it's on Twitch, 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day, full time, and again, that link is down below. Don't forget to subscribe for daily MLB and NHL content. All right, let's get into the video. All right, guys, so I hope you guys have been enjoying the game as much as I have. It has been an absolute blast outside of the brutal server issue, but honestly, when I stream throughout the day, I haven't really been noticing it all too much, so I think it might impact more at night, maybe. I don't know. They did some maintenance today. Here's hoping, knock on wood, but yeah, they've been kind of a letdown. But regardless, let's take a look at the new content that was released in terms of the cards available in packs. So the Space 2 packs, again, these are the 30,000 stub packs, and you get to choose a diamond player from one of two tiers, the rare 90 plus overalls, as well as a base 87 overall. You'll get to choose a diamond there. And again, these have been pretty decent packs. Again, if you get kind of a brutal choice, then I guess it would be, you know, a little rough. But last one, I got the 91 Hernandez, and he's been one of my favorite players so far. So we'll take a look at all of the cards, starting with the featured 91 Mike Hampton. Now, I'm not going to lie, just again, as a beginner and someone who's been playing the game for about 2 years now, when it comes to pitch mix, I like to make sure that there's at least a big difference. You know, you want a high heater and then a slower off-speed pitch that you can really mess up your opponents with. And his pitch velocity is just really low. Like 92 mile an hour on the fastball is tough, but he does have some sweet control in terms of the actual pitch stats. Like his sinker and fastball are, you know, in the high 80s, and then the pitch break on the sinker is devastating at 95. But when you look at the rest of his stats, his hits per nine, his K per nine, those are great, as well as his home run per nine. Those are all phenomenal, and his stamina is at 109. So I mean, if you are someone who can paint the corner, and you really have to use his pitch mix well, sinker, fastball, cutter, changeup, slider, you're going to have to use them all, because if your opponent kind of gets used to a slower 90 mile an hour fastball, or maybe that sinker, if you miss your spot, it could be pretty devastating. The other thing I do want to mention is that his hitting stats actually aren't all that bad. Like his contact against lefties is 86. So for anyone that's playing ranked seasons and wants like a decent bat pitcher, this is okay. Like he can actually handle his bat halfway decent. So yeah, not a bad card. Again, I don't think I would totally recommend it, but his sinker does look awfully nasty, and you know, that's one of the harder pitches to hit in this game. Next, we've got the 90 Adley Rushman from the Baltimore Orioles, a 90 overall diamond hitting and defensive catcher, and it will be only a catcher. He has no other secondary position, so you need to take that into account. He's got great contact at 86 and 85. However, his power is in the mid 70s, which, you know, isn't super ideal. His fielding, though, is great. Like, you're going to be able to throw a lot of guys out. The only downfall, I think, is that because of the Salvador Perez that you can get for free in the team affinity, it kind of limits catchers in this game that you can go out, because the Salvador Perez has an awesome swing. I've really been liking him, and you can get him for free. So in my opinion, I would kind of avoid this card. If I packed him, I'd probably sell him, unless you're a fan, obviously, but still not a terrible card by any stretch of the imagination, just one I probably wouldn't recommend going out and getting. Then we've got the 91 Billy Hamilton. So 70 contact against righties, 90 against lefties. Power is obviously much lower. His vision's great at 93. But then obviously this card is all about the speed and steal. So this is a top of the lineup. And again, if you can play against the beginner players that are in this game right now, bunting and the ability to beat out people that aren't really paying attention to their defensive setups, and I'll talk about that in a future video, you can really take advantage. Like, if you can get this card on base, it's obviously almost an automatic steal at this point in the game, just because, you know, catchers, there isn't a lot of catchers that have unbelievable defense as well as an arm, so you can really take advantage of him moving along the bases. And even if you don't like the fact that he can't really hit all that well in terms of, you know, his stats, obviously if you're a great hitter at the plate, you're going to be able to do it with pretty much anyone. His bunt ability is top tier, and again, I think you're going to see a lot of people abuse Billy Hamilton at the top of their lineup, and you're really going to have to pay attention to how your defense is set up. But for anyone that's playing events, maybe, you could use him and off the bench even, again, if a pinch run situation, but that's obviously an expensive pinch runner, but still one of the better top of the lineup cards in the 91, Billy Hamilton. Following him, we've got the 87 second half, JD Martinez, one of my favorite players, obviously, as a Red Sox fan, and he's just got incredible power. 117 against righties, 120 against lefties, and great contact as well. Obviously, his defense is rough. He can play right or left field. I've really liked the JD Martinez base card throughout this game so far, and obviously those power stats are absolutely electric. So if you do get him, I don't think that there's any problem with him at all. I haven't really swung with this card in particular, but his base card, like I said, has been absolutely devastating at the plate, and this one looks to just absolutely mash as well. Following him, we've got the 87 Troy Percival, the reliever. And again, he's got a 4-seamer, 12-6 curve, and a changeup. The issue, again, guys, when it comes to relievers, it's tough to only have, it's either going to be a big break or it's straight. And when you start playing against players that, can really start noticing that, it's tough to be able to use them effectively. That being said, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and then the 12-6 curve, again, in the low 80s. I've seen some pitchers with bigger splits than that, and that is kind of, a bigger advantage. That being said, his control is okay, nothing special. The fastball's got an 82, but the changeup is rough. And then the pitch break on that 12-6 curve, though, is an 89. And again, if you play against any of the beginner players, you know that, the curveball and the changeup low in the zone, low on the ground, essentially, those are pretty devastating when you're playing the newer players. So you might be able to take advantage of that, but I really wouldn't choose him. I think that there's a lot of better other options in terms of the selection you can make here. Next, we've got Marco Luciano, the San Francisco Giants prospect. He is a shortstop with third base eligibility and a really well-rounded hitter. 84 contact against righties, 8 against lefties, and then 90 power against righties, 82 against lefties, 57 vision, which is and then his speed is okay at 66. Again, I think that when you're looking at cards like this, you have to factor in the fact that those team affinity cards that you can get for free is a big reason why I wouldn't recommend go out and get a lot of these special cards that they release in headliner packs or the space packs, really, because again, you could just go out and get Willie Adames, for example, anyone like that that can play short, really anyone in the AL East, because they have Bogarts and Bichette, but nonetheless, not, as a hitter, he looks pretty good. I mean, I don't see any flaws there, but again, I think that, just avoid the cost and the using of stubs when you could just go and get, Willie Adames for free. Following him, we've got the 87 overall Cy Young, the starter, with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And then this is a huge discrepancy in speed. So you can go from a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to a 77-mile-an-hour screwball. So again, it's tough when you only have one fast pitch, but 96 mile an hour is obviously pretty good. And again, 119 stamina is great to really go long into ranked seasons games, but I don't really know how much effective that is. And then his K per 9 and hit per 9 a little bit low. His walks is great, hit and home runs per 9 also good. And then his control is also very, very good. So if you can hit your spots, and again, when you're taking a look at his control, the 99 on that fastball, you could just paint corners with that thing. And then that 12-6 curve could just be devastating. Again, against beginner players, these are the kind of cards that have the huge splits that's really going to keep them off balance, as well as that break on the 12-6 curve at 86. This is a nice, starter that you could use early on in the game. And then lastly, we've got the 87 overall JJ Bladee, the Miami Marlins prospect. Again, he is a right fielder, but can play all outfielder spots with decent contact against righties at 88, 79 against lefties, power against righties 81, and then lower all against lefties at 66. A good fielder at 82 for sure. He's got diamond fielding and 65 speed, but he doesn't have a great steal at only 19. Again, same kind of situation as the other cards. If you're going to spend stubs on an outfielder, I mean, there's lots of live series cards that you can go out and get, or just any of the 88 overall team affinity cards. So this would be a pass for me, in my opinion. So overall, guys, again, just talking to the beginners, what should I spend my stubs on? I honestly probably wouldn't invest in this one, and the reason is like it's awfully tough. Like obviously the Mike Hampton is pretty good, and looking at the market right now, is going for about 22,000. You can just buy him if that's who you're looking for. But the one that's really interesting is the 91 Billy Hamilton, obviously, and he's going for 35. Why not just avoid the risk if you really want Billy Hamilton and grab him? Because I don't really think. I mean, the JD Martinez is nice in terms of the 87 selection if you get him, but outside of that, there isn't really a ton of cards that have a super high value. So this would be a pass for me on that pack. If you really want a Billy Hamilton, you just go buy him. And then we'll take a look at the headliner set. We've got the 91 Tim Salmon, the right fielder with left and center eligibility. Really a great hitter. The only hole is against his contact against lefties, but obviously his contact against and power against righties is phenomenal, as is his power against lefties. 69 vision, which is nice. Fielding is okay, and speed's at 58. Again, if you're gonna buy the headliner pack, I would probably just sell it if you do pack him in one of your first early ones. I think that the Donaldson was probably much more useful for you. Not that this card isn't good by any stretch of the imagination. He's got great power against both sides of the plate, which is awesome. Just there's a lot of options in the field that you can get for free. And again, I'm speaking mostly to the free-to-play beginner players. These are the ones that, it'd be great if you packed them, if you were able to. If maybe you get a free headliners pack, but I would probably just sell him because, again, he's not going to be useful for your live series sets either. So, guys, before we get into the next moments that were released, I want to talk quickly about what to do with your stubs. So I get a ton of questions from guys that are just starting out in the game, and again, my content tailored more to the brand new players, to MLB The Show, the Xbox guys. When you have a ton of stubs, what I would recommend is ask yourself one question. Do you have any intention of trying to complete the live series collection? And by that, I mean completing all of the teams, getting Mike Trout, all of that. And if you do have intention, then I would sell any of these guys that you get for stubs, because they will drop in price eventually. They have no value in terms of trade-ins. Like, there will be sets that you can do later down the road, but it's not nearly as valuable as getting the stubs for them now when they're at their highest price, and then buying the live series items to help complete the sets. I'll use this as an example. The XP program, the first inning program, you get to 350,000 XP. You get to choose between Mike Piazza and Venezuela. I would much rather, I got Piazza, and the only reason I picked him is just because I sold him immediately. They go down in price before, as the event or the inning goes along, because everyone gets them for free essentially. And I just sell them because, again, I'm not really going to use those cards. I would rather work towards getting, Mike Trout and getting the David Ortiz and Soriano, and then Chipper Jones, obviously. If you obviously have no intention of doing the live series set, then yeah, these cards could have some value for you, because if you're just trying to get into the game and you want a good team right now, maybe you're just enjoying it for the next little while. Like, some of these cards could be really good. Like I said, that Billy Hamilton is going to be a top of the lineup card for a while for you, and even if he becomes obsolete, you can use him off the bench for forever. So I just want to mention that before we get into the moments. All right, guys, so if you go over to single player modes and then moments, we've got a brand new moment in the Tops Now 2021. So if you've been watching my videos, my beginner video and what to do starting out early, I talked about doing these two specifically because you got the 84 Yumon Mercedes, and then you also got the 86 Ryan McMahon, both of which are really, really good cards. So we got a new one from April 12th to April 18th. So again, it works the same way. You go through all of these moments, and you'll be rewarded with a choice pack. All right, so once you complete all of the daily moments, you will get another choice pack, and you'll get to choose between the 87 Adam Duvall or the 87 Carlos Rodon. So taking a look at the Adam Duvall card, really flexible in terms of positions. Can play left, first, third, center, and right. And a really good hitter against lefties, righties, and his power, but it's the contact against righties that's a little rough. And again, you're going to see a lot of righties out of the gate, so that is one downfall. His fielding isn't brutal. When taking a look at Carlos Rodon, again, his pitch mix is pretty nice with a four-seamer into the 96 miles an hour, slider, changeup, two-seamer, and then a curveball at 77. Again, I kind of like to see a bigger discrepancy in terms of speed from the fastball and the changeup. 10 miles an hour isn't a huge bump, but it isn't terrible. And then his pitch control, the four-seamer fastball and the slider at 84 isn't bad. They're all pretty decent. And then the breaks, look at that slider and changeup as well as the fastball. That's pretty incredible. Just based on like all of the other cards that you can pick up. I mean, that power against lefties is really useful, though. I always think that hitters are more valuable than pitchers, and again, you can get a lot of the team affinity pitchers like Sixto Sanchez, or even if a lot of people took Pedro Martinez, for example. I would probably go Adam Duvall. And again, if you are someone who is trying to do the live series cards, I would just pick whoever that sells for the most and then sell them immediately. Guys, you need to remember these cards are going to drop in price considerably because everyone has the ability to go and pick them up. I will say this: both of these cards are eligible for the event that's currently going on. If you need pitching help, obviously Carlos Rodon, and then Adam Duvall. Like, again, he is a great power hitter, especially against lefties. But that contact against righties is a little rough. And his speed at 66 is nothing crazy. So if you need a hitter, I would go Adam Duvall. If your pitching staff is a little bit in need, I do like the flexibility of Adam Duvall. So I'm going to go Adam Duvall just because I'm going to sell him regardless. The second round will have Ty France and Tyler Stevenson. Again, same kind of situation. More balanced hitter in terms of Ty France, but Tyler Stevenson I've used just in other events and whatnot. He's actually been pretty good, his other card. So I would recommend Tyler Stevenson here, especially against lefties. Again, another lefty big bat again. So maybe if you choose Rodon, maybe go Stevenson here as a bench bat. So, but again, regardless, I'm going to sell both of these. So guys, I hope that helps you out with the new content that came out in MLB The Show 21. Don't forget, check me out on Twitch at 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day. And the link is down below. And my code for this weekend at gfuel.com is 30% off. So if you're looking for some G Fuel, again, use code NOSLEEVES. That'll save yourself 30% off. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.